First opportunity we get, we're coming back.
Ed, I want to thank you for taking the time again, man. I had you 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think the podcast number was 105.
I still look at it. It's amazing.
And
yeah.
I look at it because it was such a pleasant time, and it was during COVID too.
Oh yeah.
So we had a lot of stuff we were going through. We got to do it outside, and things have changed with me over that time.
Oh yeah.
And I was really casual then because COVID made everybody casual. There's no reason to put on a suit or do anything.
And I just what I can say, how we came out of that was amazing.
I think so.
I just know for Japan because we were here,
Mm-hmm.
and for me with the lockdown and a whole lot of things that were canceled, and for us to come out of that in such a calm way, and then look at where we are now today. Because if you think about it, it's really not that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago, but it feels like it was forever.
Oh, yes.
It feels like decades ago because we were so confined.
Yes.
We confined everything. Ed, where are you today? Because I know, well, I shouldn't say I know where you are. Any of you, I won't have this out in time anyway, but I know on Saturday you're having the Juke Joint.
Yep.
Juke
Joint.
Juke Joint.
Event.
That's
yes.
right, Juke Joint event. And he's going to have a young lady that he's introduced me to named Haruno Imai, who's going to be playing sax, and she's going to be playing a song that he actually produced. Ed produced this song, and I can't wait to hear it. Because I'm going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, if you've been there, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, you missed an event, I'm sure, before it even happens.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's going to be at New Sanno this Saturday, and you've been to a couple of my shows. When I put things together, to me, it's not just, okay, you're a DJ or whatever, and you're just performing in front of people. I like to give a vision. When people come in, they're coming to a show, but I want them to feel what they're seeing. So with the Juke Joint, a lot of people would not know what that is. And so I always give a history of what a Juke Joint is, and this is why you should come, because I want you to have this kind of feeling.
Give us a history real quick now. I know what it is.
Oh yeah, we do. So it's I take the certain elements, but the main history of it was back in the days, of America's harsh times, as you could say. African Americans or Black Americans were not allowed in certain venues where white Americans were at and attend. So this came from rooted out in the South, so where they would create their own area where they can socialize, listen to great music. That's where you get your hot jazz and everything. People are jamming the blues, great food, little gambling, and just basically socialize amongst each other after hard, long weekdays of work and everything. And where they would have these things were like shacks or something they would put up in the deep woods.
They would call
hidden, and they would be called Juke
Joints, right? That's
so I take the concept, as you know, with me and my company, Unity Through Music, is about bringing all cultures together. We are all one on this planet.
Right.
So I take that part of our history, and I'm bringing that out to here in the sense that, look, we could all get together, hard day at work, let's get to meet each other, great place to socialize, listen to some great music, have a great time, and order some great food, and just come together as one. And that's the
you say you're bringing it out here, but see, you're coming from Hawaii. You're not here anymore, because the last time we talked, you left.
Yes, unfortunately.
And you're still in Hawaii.
Yes,
You're just here for how long? Were you here for 10 days or what?
Yeah, so just for a couple of more days. I'll be out here. I leave on the 7th and go right back to Hawaii.
And basically to do this.
And I got to go back to work. Yeah, I came out here and, well, actually we're coming out for vacation and, staying at New Sanno. And anytime I can get an opportunity to perform, I'm like right on it, and they never say no.
That's right. Well, Paul loves you. He knows
he's a great man.
You pull the people in when you come.
Yeah.
That's good. So, do you have any intentions of ever coming back?
Oh yes, I think the last time we talked, like I told you, most of my life was here. My time in the military, the majority of my career was in Japan. So this is like home to me. So first opportunity we get, we're coming back. And it's funny when we landed this time. It wasn't that oh wow feeling like, oh my God, we're back in Japan. No, it was, we're back home. Right. That's how I know. It's like, okay, yeah, I miss it, but I still feel the essence of it.
So you're going to be here eventually.
Yeah, something tells me, you can call me, oh my God, hey, I'm praying to you, but something says you're coming back home. And when we landed today, a couple of days ago, it just felt like home. It didn't feel like I was a tourist or, oh my God, I can't believe I'm back here. It just felt like.
Well, tell us what your journey's been like since you left. When you went, because the last time we talked, you were here and you were about to leave. So what has it been like for you in Hawaii?
Hawaii's great. Don't get me wrong. so appreciative and grateful for the job that I have in Hawaii, you know, to continue what I do as a security specialist.
Mhm.
Now I just do it on a bigger platform where I'm at in Hawaii. More responsibilities, more challenges, but that's what I love. That's what life is.
Are you still doing it for the military?
For the Department of Defense, yes, for the military.
Military, yeah.
Yes,
So you're
yes.
still in intelligence.
Yes. In
This
that
guy.
sense, like, so I do that there, and you know, like I said, we met great friends in Hawaii. You know, that Ohana feeling and the relaxed feeling. But I can tell you, it's expensive.
I was going to say, I was about to say, because the economy, I haven't heard anyone that's living in Hawaii or that's come from Hawaii that
Yes.
hasn't said the prices have looked like they've
Yes.
tripled because it's just
It
really
has.
getting
It
out
has.
of hand. And even for the locals, they're
Yes.
really starting to feel the pressure.
Yes, and it's sad because it's their island, it's their culture, it's their history, and it's difficult for them to remain there and pass on that history to the next generation.
So are they leaving?
Oh yes, oh yes.
Oh, they're going to
Yeah.
where?
Well, this is just me reading. You know, I think it was Nevada, Las Vegas, or something. So
Oh,
that's where.
they're being sent to the mainland.
Well, they're
Well, they're
going
going
on
to the
their
mainland.
own because you know it's cheaper. You know, and you can buy a home. You can have something established and have a return. You know, where you're not spending so much where you don't have nothing in return. You know, and unfortunately, I'm not a politician, but that's what's happening in Hawaii, where
But
the prices.
do you know anyone personally that's done that?
No, I hear about it.
You hear
know,
about it. So that's what's going on. But none of the people you know are
Oh
doing
no,
that
no,
yet.
no. Some of the locals that I've met, you know, that it's home to them, and
They're going to stay there.
Oh yeah. But I've have friends that are in the military or friends that are civilian workers like me, that have said the same thing. They love it, but the expense is just not affordable. So you're there for a little while, and you kind of look around, where can I go to where I can get a return back on my investment in quality of life, because it's just very difficult in Hawaii to
So
make that happen.
what does one find? What do you do then? I mean, what is your life like while you're there now with the expenses being so high?
Well, I mean, luckily I'm retired, so I got extra income coming on top of my work that I
Right.
do, and then plus my company, as you know, it's an LLC. So when I perform, you know, I get paid for those, or when I'm doing productions and things like that. So the income helps me that way, and it's just all about learning your environment and learning how to adapt and budget within your environment. Because I feel at some point we have to look at, you know, do we have enough? Why do we need so much? You know, so
You're talking about as a society?
yes,
I
and
see.
as the individual, you know, so yes, it's expensive, but why do I need to go out and buy these things and these things when I already have it?
Right.
So those are things that I can say I don't need, and the money I save from not buying that, I can now invest that.
Mm-hmm.
And my investment on life is not for me; it's for, of course, my wife and my sons, because I want them to have a foundation to start on. When the good Lord says, "Hey, your story's been told; time for you to leave."
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it that way, and that's how it motivates me. You know.
Mom and dad still doing okay?
Oh, they're doing great. I call my pops once a week, call my mom once a week, you know, and you know, my pop tells me don't call him on Wednesday because that's his church thing. He has his little
Oh,
thing.
so he's really religious?
Oh yeah, both him and my mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it makes them good people, you know.
Okay.
So I'm happy for them. But
Are you religious in that respect?
No,
You're more spiritual, aren't you?
Yes, I tell people, you know, and I love the conversation. You know, some may get offended by it, but I think having open dialogue helps for better understanding, in the sense that I am not religious. I don't believe in religion. I do believe in God.
There you go.
You know, I know there's a spirit up there that has us here for a reason. All of us here for a reason. We just have to figure that out, and that's the gift He gave us, the ability to think on our own, so we can figure that out. To me, I've always thought, and no matter what form of religion, that it was kind of like a form of control.
I have a book that you're going to love.
Oh man!
It's a series. It's a trilogy. You're going to love it.
Oh, I gotta read it.
You'll love it. I have it on audio. And matter of fact, we'll listen to a little bit of it on the way back when I take you back. It is just, I listen to it regularly.
Oh man!
I don't find myself to be religious either, even though I was raised a Catholic.
Yes.
And my mother had me at Methodist church, but that was just because my sisters went, so she had me going.
Yes.
And I'm the older
Yes.
than my two younger sisters. Religion, my father had me in Catholic school for a short while, and I was like you were when it came to history.
Yes.
I look in the background, I want to ask questions.
Exactly.
But when they stop you from asking questions or punish you for or even answering a question they've asked,
Exactly.
which happened to me, I thought, this isn't right.
And when
I don't believe this could be right.
Yeah, and when you're asking questions, you're seeking knowledge. You're not saying that, hey,
You're wrong.
you're wrong. Exactly. I just
want to know.
want to know. I have a question about this.
Right.
Why is it like this?
Exactly.
And if your answer is because, or they tend to get real negative with you,
Right.
oh, blasphemy, no, then you don't know the answer
That's
either.
right.
But you're telling us to follow something that you don't even know the answer to.
That's right.
You know, and like I said, I just think my philosophy on all religions, you know, everybody has a concept of God said he comes in many names, right? So that means many languages. That means if he comes in many names, why is it that if you're Muslim, Christian, whatever, you're not speaking to the same God? It's just this is your interpretation of that God.
That's right.
So what do we do as a human society? Because you can't blame God. You know, we separate ourselves.
Well, let me say this,
You
Ed.
know.
Let me ask you this. What isn't God?
I think
Everything, let me say this, every single thing is God.
I believe, yep.
And there's nothing that isn't. So how can you offend him? Why would he be abused? How can you do anything that he would think would be wrong? Because
Exactly.
every single thing is God.
And that's how I look at it. And so
how can you tell me he says you shouldn't dance on Sunday, you shouldn't eat meat on Fridays? What are you talking? God is everything.
Yeah.
Now man has interpreted what he wants to control. I think religion's a good controlling mechanism.
yes,
And I do think it's necessary.
yes.
But I don't think that it's something that has all the truth in it.
Exactly. And that's everything. And that's why I say with my parents or whoever else is, you know, just because I don't believe it, it doesn't mean I don't think it's a good thing, because you have to look within yourself and who was I before? And when
It's
I
a good guidance.
took this path and this path led me to who I am now, then that's a good thing. Keep following that path because that's for you. You know.
The military is kind of like that.
Yes.
I was telling one of my sons, because none of them went in the service. I said, you know, you should have probably gone in the service. You know why? Because some of the stuff that I say, even if you think it's wrong, because I'm your elder and your father, most of all, you should just accept it and not say a word.
Yeah.
And think about it and try to wonder why I might have said what I said, even if you think it's wrong.
Yes.
But don't challenge me on every single thing I say.
You get that.
Now, you learn that in the service.
Yeah.
But religion asks you to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I said it's this way, that's not. That's a little different, I think, than the military. When you're going through different functions, you have to do stuff. But they need people to do what they want them to do, or else we would not fight the wars we fight. There's a lot of stuff we wouldn't do if we had to think about it.
And society has changed. Like, I don't mind if you ask why, if you're not challenging. Like you said, there's a difference when you're asking for knowledge, seeking knowledge, or if you just want to challenge because, well, I don't believe it, I want it to go this direction.
That's right. Yeah.
So, like you said, you tell your sons, go think about what I said.
You don't have time for that.
Then
sometimes.
you come back, then you can ask the why, then it's not challenging. I thought about it, but I just have this question. I have no problem with answering that question if I had that knowledge. And if I don't, I'm not going to sit there and shoot from the hip, as we say in the military. I'm going to seek that knowledge so to make sure you get the correct information.
I use the analogy when parents come to me and saying, you know, my child won't do it. I asked them to do this, not. And I said, no, I don't believe in corporal punishment anymore.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's necessary. We've come to a stage where there's too many other things you could do, like just have them stay still.
Yes.
But you need to have the time to be able to do that, and you don't always have that. But if your child's getting ready to run out across a red light and you see the cars coming, are you going to try to have a discussion with them?
No.
Are you going to snatch them and bring them back?
Exactly.
Regardless of what they're saying, and it's against their will, but it's because you could see what the potential damage could be. They don't know.
Yes. And that's just life's journey.
And that's why you tell the kids, don't question me on certain things.
Yeah.
You may not understand now, but time should tell.
And that mirror is going to be them.
And I could be wrong. But still, at this point, I want you to follow it.
You know, and I look at life as, you know, there's the same thing when it comes to failure. There's no wrong. It's just when you're doing things the right way. Now, of course, there's wrong if you're intentionally going to harm people physically or mentally or something like that nature. But as you go through life, to me, I had to learn this. I feel like there's no wrong path. It's just that path wasn't for you. But you had to go that route in order to see that path wasn't for you. And it's up to you to change directions to go towards where you want to go in your journey.
That's right.
You know, and that's how I look at life, you know. So like we say about Japan, Hawaii, it's a blessing to go there. I could have went anywhere, you know, and I'm
The weather's a blessing.
Oh yeah.
And the ocean's a blessing.
You forget whatever your troubles are when you get up. You can have a bad day, but as soon as you open that door
and that
blue
and
sunshine hits you, he's like, you know what? I don't have it bad. You know.
Isn't that nice?
So I won't have that extra burger because it costs $50. You know. But I have it good. You know. I'm grateful for the life that I have.
Did you buy a home there?
No, I would never. I mean, no. And it's funny. I understand real estate. I used to own a home in New York. You know, I'm not Mr. Knowledgeable. I know enough. And real estate is a great investment, but that doesn't mean every investment is a good investment.
That's true. It doesn't mean everybody needs to have real estate.
Exactly. So
there's some things you can invest in.
Exactly. You don't need real estate. So to me personally, and this is my own personal feeling, is just it's gotten so high that it will be a poor investment. And I know people say, oh, it'll sell easily because you're on an island. Not necessarily true.
No, because there's a lot of islands. Don't forget.
Yeah.
And people are opting for other islands that aren't as well developed.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people. You make let's say you make a low six figures, but now your house is 1 point whatever million. You know, when you're ready to sell, you still are obligated until that product is sold. And I tell people, okay, you're getting a basis, so you still have to invest in your product because other people are investing in theirs to try to outsell you. So with your mortgage being so high and other expenses, can you afford to invest back into your investment so that it can be profitable? A lot of times that answer is no. That's why you go to double mortgages and all these other things that put you deeper into a hole. And I'm like, well, do I really need it here? I'm not saying I would never buy, but here, no. So the money I'm saving from not investing in that avenue, I'll invest in other areas. Right. You know, and that's how I look at it. So I would never buy a house in Hawaii.
Wow.
Again, my intention is to come to Japan. Just kidding.
That's true. Yeah, you're trying to get here.
Yeah.
My goodness. So what's going to happen so what have you been doing? I've been seeing the pictures you've been doing on Facebook since you've been here.
Yes.
Because you've been going around. Have you seen anything that's changed since you've been gone for just 2 years, right?
Just 2 years.
2 years. Have you seen any changes since the building behind us wasn't here.
Yes.
That's the largest office building in Japan.
Yeah. I saw that. And we a couple of days ago, of course, we went to Shibuya for shopping. Of course, not for me. You know, me and my son, we were just the tag-alongs for moral support. But
did you go to Don Quixote?
Oh yeah, the Mega Donkey. Well, she went to the H&M, and then for her. Right. But what I got to see is the continued progress of the Shibuya station and how big it has gotten. It's just amazing.
In the 2 years.
Oh yes, in the 2 years, it's just I'd get lost. It's not the Shibuya station I know anymore. I would need a map, you know.
That's true. Japan puts so much in their infrastructure.
Yes. And
that's the one thing I find every time I go back to the States that's lacking.
Yeah.
We're not putting any resources into our infrastructure across the board.
Exactly.
Now in the wealth areas, they're maintaining their areas.
Yeah.
But then that's not that big in space.
No.
So when you get outside of that, you're right back into the areas that aren't developed and aren't keeping up with pace.
And you look at that, so if that's what our taxes are for. Where's our money being spent? Because we don't see the fruits of our investment, which is us. That's why we have you in these positions to invest, to make sure that our investment is being handled wisely. So is the government, because the government to me, countries is a business. That's why we talk to each other on these planes that we do. So the taxes that we pay into, are you investing those taxes in other areas in hopes to get bring down the debt we owe or whatever the case may be, but we're losing, Social Security and all these things like that. We don't see a return to that.
What were some of the biggest things you saw as a difference once you went back to the States? Because you hadn't lived there in how many years before you went back? 6 years. 6 years.
Only
6 years?
Yeah. Well, again, I retired, went back to the States for about a year and a half and got a job and immediately came back. So I would say 12 years, if you don't want to count that little small time, because I was gone that long.
Right, okay.
So again, most of my time has been in Japan. So
did you have any culture shock going back?
Yes,
what was it?
I still do. Even though I lived there, I just.
What are some of the things what are some of the things that you find a hard time being able to associate with, or you never will associate with it, but there are things that might rub you right or wrong? What are the things that you find?
I just, for me, it's like customer service and just how people generally
period.
Period, and how people generally treat each other. It's different here, and it's hard to explain that to anyone unless you live here. And that's not to say that this place doesn't have its own issues, because it doesn't. We're humans. It's not. you know, Japan is not Japan because it's Japan. You know, it's the people that make it.
That's right.
You know, and
their education system,
yes.
the way they educate the kids in elementary schools is the same across the board.
Yeah.
And they're all taught to clean up. They don't have janitors in elementary schools.
Exactly.
They're taught that what belongs to someone else belongs to someone else. It doesn't belong to you.
Exactly.
So
you know.
someone had in the one of the small posts I saw, they had two pictures. They said the things that are stolen in the States, and they had cars, they had money, they had cell phones, you know, and stuff like that. And they said things stolen in Japan: women's undergarments, umbrellas, and bicycles.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
They won't steal your phone.
Yeah.
You can leave your phone, your brand new 7, whatever you get, somewhere, and if there's something on there saying who it belongs to, you'll get it back.
They'll take it to the police station, the Cobalt.
They don't want it.
Yes. And again, we're not saying 100% because there's a small.
That's the shift.
Small. It's a small percent. So to say that it doesn't happen, you know, of course we know, but
I
think
I think that would be the opposite in the U.S.
Yes.
There's a small percent of people that would actually give your stuff back.
Yes.
They may not take it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, but I've met some great people, you know, there you know, like we said, that Ohana feeling that they have there, they do have it. But it's the feeling of, like we just talked about, is having to look over your shoulder just a bit more than you used to.
Do you do?
Yes, you have to.
Have you had any incidents where you thought nothing like that's happened?
But you still have to be aware of where you're at now. So in other words, I've gotten so used to how things are here, I can't bring that same attitude to a new environment, especially when I know that environment is not the same as here, or not even close to here.
Have you found yourself in a situation where you thought, okay, I got to leave here?
Oh, no, because I just don't go to those environments.
You know where they're at?
Everyone should know. You know, if you're paying attention to your surroundings, doesn't mean...
So you can see it.
Yes.
I'm saying you've been in it, but once you get in it, you know, I'm not staying here.
Exactly. Yeah, okay, I have no problems with just, okay, this is not for me, and I'll just go in a different direction.
Right.
But I've been blessed to be around great people where I don't see it that... Okay, it's like it's minute. Right. I just know that, okay, I'm not going over here.
Right. You're going to put yourself in a situation.
And I'm a firm believer, like we talked the last time, I love being around you and other positive people that believe in elevating themselves, you know, and because that's who I choose to be. So of course you're only as successful around the team that you're around, your environment you are. I have that same thing in Hawaii. I'm around some great people I call family, you know, my fraternity and friends that we have there, my family there, and we just have that small knit circle where we take care of each other.
Well, I talked to you when I saw you at the Sanno the other night.
Yes. I
told you that some of the people you've mentored are actually kicking it, and I've had them on the podcast. Awesome. For example, is Quiet Storm.
Oh yeah.
He's been on, and his wife.
Yeah.
Both of them were on, and he just sang a praise to you about you. He said, "Yeah, if it weren't for Ed," he said, "he's the one that taught me how to do what I do." Yeah, I'm just a firm believer, like we talked before, paying it forward. Your greatest blessing in life is not what God has blessed you with. It's what you choose to do with that gift, without expectations. You know, so if someone has a passion, it doesn't even have to be music. If someone comes to me for advice or anything, you know, if I can be helpful to help them start their journey in the direction they want to go, then that's all I want. And the only thing I ask for them is, you know, it was done to you. One day someone's going to come knocking on your door. You pass it on so that they can pass it on. So see, when you do, the more people you make successful, the more successful you are automatically.
Yes.
And that's how it works, no matter what you're doing. You know, I forget what they said. There was a couple of quotes and sayings about success as it goes. It said, a true king isn't a person who rules over many, but who has many who feel blessed because of his ruling.
Exactly.
And then they said a true leader is not a person who leads the people, but the people that creates more leaders. And it went on and on like that, in that vein. And I thought, that is beautiful. That's the way it really is.
That's what true leadership is.
That's right.
I know.
The one that creates the most leaders.
It's not so much of, you know, people ever have to, like we talk about when you do job interviews or something like that, that one of the main questions you get is the difference between management and leadership. So management, you're managing the programs. You know, you're making sure things get done, you know, and that it meets these timelines that, you know, you were assigned to meet. Leadership, however, is something different, you know, and it's not like you say, me bossing over someone, hey, get this done because I'm your boss. No, it's about mentoring. It's about guiding. It's about I call it passing the torch. One day I can't do this job, so I want to make sure that this person is able to step into my shoes and move forward, but in their own light. So that's what true leadership is to me, is what you can give others. They see it, they apply it, and you sit back and just let them grow.
I've said this many times, that our children do not represent our future.
Exactly.
They represent our past. Now, on the other hand, what we represent to our children is their possible future.
Yes.
So we owe it to them, but most of all to ourselves, to be all we can be to show them what's possible. And on that note, how is your oldest son? Is he still in the Navy?
Oh, he still is. He loves.
Is he gonna do his full term? He's gonna follow
so.
Dad's footsteps?
I hope so. Not because he's going to follow Dad, but I hope so that he's learned what.
Has he gotten married?
Oh no, he's single guy still.
Okay, single guy.
So,
still.
yeah, he's still with the CBs.
But how old is he now?
He's got to be about 29, 30 now.
You know about between that.
Yeah, I'm getting older now, so
your youngest is 19 or 20.
He's 20.
He's 20 now.
Yes.
Okay,
he's grad so well.
I saw him. He's really doing well. Yeah.
And that's what I said. I love like the school that he's in Hawaii, the Radford High School. I'm just so.
So you liked it better than what he had here?
Oh no, I think it's all different.
Okay, it's different. Because he had all of his comrades, people that he grew up with here.
Yeah, and he has developed that there. But my whole thing is how he's being taught to help develop him for his transition to an adult. Right. And they've done a great job at that high school. The teachers and staff over there, just same as they've done here.
Right. Is he still nonverbal?
Yes, he's still nonverbal.
He'll never be able to.
No, I can't say never.
Never. You won't say never, but he hasn't yet.
He hasn't yet. There's.
Because he can whistle.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He can whistle.
we were out in town. A matter of fact, it was so funny.
Who taught him how to whistle? Wait.
He does it.
He just. Who taught him?
His ear.
He just did it. All of a sudden, he just started. From what age?
Since he was. Yeah.
Oh really? He's been whistling.
He has an awesome ear. Awesome ear.
Because I just realized it the other day. I didn't even whistle because we were around us. I guess the other time. Yeah.
He sings and
He sings too?
Oh, well, hums.
Oh, hums, okay.
You'll be surprised at some of the music that he hums out of the blue. And I'm like, where'd you hear that from? He has a good ear and memory.
Okay.
We were out in town. I think it was, not Shibuya, but I forgot where we were walking at. And we're in an elevator, and he just starts whistling, and the lady thought it was a bird in there. She's like, is that him? I was like, yes. Yeah. She said, it sounds exactly like a bird.
Yeah, he has a beautiful whistle. Yes, I had an uncle like that. My Uncle Ralph had a beautiful whistle. And we used to go out hunting, and he would whistle on the way out there, and he'd whistle at times. And I just loved it. Yeah, I just saw a little sparrow. I thought it was a mouse or something. I wanted to be sure. Not that it was going to jump up on the chair.
Jump up and on the chair or anything like that.
But I thought maybe it was
call security. Hey, we got the intruder.
I can edit that part out.
No, he's doing great. Both
good.
of my sons are just amazing, man. I'm just so proud of both of them, My oldest career, and as he progresses in that, and whatever his journey is, my job's done. If he wants advice, I'm here for him, but I stay out of it. My job is to step back and watch him grow on his own.
Where's he now?
He's still in San Diego.
In San Diego?
He's still with the CBs, and he's just loves his job.
He does?
Yeah, he just loves his job. And then my little man is, big man now.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's going to be the little man soon. This guy's just growing, and just watching him develop and to becoming who he's going to become. It's just amazing.
And you've been married for 3 years now?
Yes.
And how's that been?
Oh, it's great. It's great.
It's good. She looked happy. She still.
Oh yeah. And what I like about it is, again, we learn through life. No one's perfect. So I've been able to look at myself and, with her, we're able to discuss when we need to discuss. If things don't, marriage is up and down, up and down, up and down.
It's any relationship.
So when you have those moments where you need to discuss in order to fix something, I'm so happy that we're able to do that.
That's good.
As adults, she keeps me going.
That's beautiful. That is.
And
beautiful.
I just love the relationship she has with my son, and that's the one that just. I'm so grateful.
I noticed how she was really being attentive to him.
He listens to him.
We're sitting down. She was really watching and paying attention, and I said, "Well, that's nice. That is nice."
I told her, I said, nothing. There's no words I can express to show my gratitude, and appreciation on the relationship she has with him, and the love that he feels and she feels. You can generally feel it, not just see it. And this is a woman that's stepping in at a time when he was already a teenager, and it's just. Again, I step back. I have nothing to do with that. And I just
Well,
want
you
to
have
observe.
everything to do with it. What do you mean you have nothing?
Yeah.
You have everything to do with it because you helped to initiate all of that.
That's it.
Because if you weren't really, really good, it couldn't happen.
Yes.
Wouldn't be happen.
Yeah, my life's blessed.
And I think sometimes, well, I think even your youngest realizes that it's because of the path that you've laid out, the foundation you've set up. Your wife, I'm sure she's very much aware of it. She's as much a blessing to you as you are to her. It doesn't go one-sided.
Yeah,
you know,
and
you tend to bring people to you the way that you are.
I think
it works that way. There's no doubt about that. You don't have to be humble about that. As a matter of fact, I think the universal force says the first person you need to love is you.
I'm a firm believer.
How can you pass that on to anybody else if you have bad feelings about yourself? You have to forgive yourself for all the things you might have done wrong and the times you mess up, which are going to be many.
Yes.
You know, but you have to forgive yourself and give the same kind of love to yourself that you give to your best friend.
Exactly.
And most people don't do that. They treat their best friend better than they will themselves.
And I don't get it, you know. It starts with you. And again, like we said, as long as it's not, even if it's intentional, you have to look back at yourself. Wow, why did I do that? And don't be afraid to apologize, not only to yourself,
that's right,
but to the person that you hurt. Yeah. That's how you grow. It really does start with you first, you know, and people can feel it genuinely.
They sure can. And as you start to master, you'll perceive that before it happens, and you won't have to go through that again. And the more time you spend here. And I think one reason is because the universe gave us one mouth but 2 ears, so you do twice as much hearing as you do speaking. Speak less and listen more, and you won't be making those mistakes, saying the wrong thing.
I've had that said to me as we get older. You know, when you're young, you want to.
You have to, because that's when you're finding out what works, what doesn't.
Exactly.
I see my sons doing it. They're in their 30s. They want to come back at me and say different things.
Yeah.
And that's when I think, don't debate them on this, because time's going to show.
Yeah.
My father had this saying that I loved. Whenever we got into spirited debates, my father and I, because he raised me through my teens, he said, boy, there's your side, my side, and the right side. I want you to take 2 or 3 weeks, and when you find out what the right side is, you come back and tell me.
That's some wisdom.
He never would say I was wrong. He would never say I was wrong. But sure enough, 2 or 3 weeks later, he said, remember we were talking a little while ago? I say, what, about what, Dad? You remember we were talking about that. You remember we were talking about such and such. You remember?
Yeah.
And I felt this way, and you felt that way. You find out what the right way was? and I go, oh, it's your way. He said, what? Say a little bit louder. I can't hear you. I said, what's your way, Dad? He said, all right, I just wanted to know.
You know.
But he never would, right then, no matter what it got, and he was pretty good with handling his temper, too.
Yeah.
I'd be the one getting all excited. And, Dad, you just don't know. How could you know, as old as you are, in the time you don't know? And he'd say, oh, is that right? Okay. Your side, my side, and the right side. Come back and tell me what this right side is.
It's good because he's been there before.
You know what I mean? And he wouldn't say, because he knew by saying, I'm right, I would go against that. He said, just let time for you. Figure it out. Time will tell.
See, you know.
He said that a couple of times. It bit me in my butt. He said, all right, I'd say something to him. He said, okay, time will tell. And I go, oh, shoot. And he said, didn't I tell you?
Because what he sees is, you know, I've experienced this already.
He needs experiences. He needs to find out.
If I told you about it, you're gonna go against the grain. But I'll let you go out there and trip up a little bit.
You need to,
and
or succeed, whatever it may be.
Failure, succeeding is the same thing.
That's right.
You need them both. It's the real failure part is when you quit. You know, what's that old picture you always see where the person's in the mine and he's looking for the diamond and he's going and going and going and I give up. Walks back and all he had to do was hit it one more time and his goal was right there.
All there. So it's don't quit. Failure and success are the same things. You can't be successful without failing, because that failure is going to guide you to your success. You know, it's always the next step. That's how I look at life. And it's not just the business thing, it's just my life in general. People have said this to me. They say, when are you going to retire, man? Because you're always doing so many things. I said, you'll know when I retire, because this is what I'm going to look like. And I won't take one back in. Yeah. That's when I'll retire. I feel the same way. Outside of that, what are you talking about? I'm not believing that concept. Yeah. I don't believe in the concept of retiring. No. Did you go out on a boat and you fish all the time? I do believe there's a heaven and a hell. Yes, but I think you make it here. Yes. I think outside of this duality that we have here on earth, there's no hell.
You know,
any more than heaven. But I believe it's all heaven. However, you make your hell here, and I think it's a controlling mechanism. That's what we do, because I don't believe in the devil and all that. I don't think that stuff exists, but I believe it exists. I shouldn't have said that. I believe it exists, but only as much as you're willing to accept it.
exactly.
You have to want it to be, and it will be.
And that's the spirituality. And so that same analogy is that, you know, with life, if you want it to be,
It
if
will
you
be.
believe it, achieve it to be it.
You sure can be
You
there.
know, so, and that's how one of my little slogans on my Unity Through Music thing, I have this thing I always say to everyone, and that's live life, love life, enjoy the journey. So I'm the same way. What am I retiring for? Who puts the time limit on the things you enjoy doing? And who puts the time limit on what you consider to be your success? Only you can do that.
Right.
And, you know, so people are saying, oh, you're too old to do this and that. Have you done your history? Most successful people have become successful after their 50s and 60s. You know why? Because they didn't quit.
And they never stop.
Yes.
They never stop until their last breath.
That's when I'll retire, when, you know.
That's right.
You hear that last breath come out and
That's right.
nothing's
That's
coming
it.
in.
Nothing
you know.
up. What is it? Death throttle? That's it. That's when I'm going. But outside of that, I'm not going.
Yeah,
And
you know.
Before I end this podcast, I always enjoy talking with you. Before I end it, there's a question I asked, and I don't know if I asked you last time. I don't think I did at the end of it,
Okay.
but maybe I did.
Been a while, so.
Okay, it's been a while, but I can do it again. If you could go back in time and speak to the young Ed and give him advice based upon what you know now, how old would he be, and what advice would you give him?
You know what? I think I answered that, but
You
the way
did.
I answered
So
it
this is what
was
you did.
I gave advice.
Right.
I'm a little bit wiser now. I've gone through things, you know. I would tell him absolutely nothing, because the path you're going is the path you should be on, and that's the way I think now. You're gonna stumble. You're gonna have the hardest of times. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to do things you shouldn't have done. But all those things were meant to happen in order for you to become who you are today.
That's what I'm talking
You
about.
know,
my
so.
man. Thank you. That's fantastic. I want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. And never forget, it's all unknown, so continue to reach for the stars.
Because you're too blessed to be stressed.